Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, and welcome here at our event on our Zurich One data center. I'm really delighted to have you all here and appreciate you taking the time to join us today. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Ravi Singh, and I'm locally responsible for the customer success department. On today's event, hopefully it works, yeah, very nice. Here's the agenda for those who are a bit in the back. There are also screens on the side. I just quickly want to introduce you to the agenda and to our speakers today. So first of all, we have Ben Chapman over there, our Vice President and Global Head of Customer Success, who will give you an insight into our global model and how we can support you as a client, your growth. Then we also have Uwe Pfer in the middle over there, our Senior Solutions Architect. He'll give you a technical presentation of Service Fabric and also do some live demonstration. Yeah, I see him nodding, perfect. And lastly, we have Arne Bennox over there, Sales and Business Development Director, giving you an outlook into how Service Fabric can integrate Cyan to implement security. And as a special highlight, Thomas Knüssel here in the front, CEO of Cyberlink. He will present you a real-life use case with a payment bank. So pretty exciting. And enough from me now, gladly hand over to Ben.
Great. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Ben Chapman. I run the Global Customer Success Organisation. I've been in the business for about 5 years. Before that, I was almost 20 years at IBM. So cut me and I bleed blue, effectively, until I joined this organisation. So I really want to talk a little bit about, at a very high level, how we operate globally. I think that's a bit of context for you to go in, and then we'll let the brains of the operation talk through the technical layers of Service Fabric, which is really why we're here today. There's no secret that data is probably one of the biggest commodities in the world right now. Our role in Digital Realty is really to bring companies and data together. That's effectively what we do on our global platform. So we'll talk a little bit about, at a high level, how that looks and feels today on our global footprint. Before I do that though, I wanted to give an overview of the business, a little bit of the wider global business that I'm part of and where I fit into that. So this is our leadership team. You can see that. You'll be able to link on that if you wanted to. We'll share these after, I assume. And it will show who the leadership team are. Andy Powers, our CEO and President. Left to right, you can see Greg Wright. Greg's really important to our organisation, so he's there to look at where and how we invest. So you think about where we're growing from a footprint perspective, etc. Key to that decision point, listening to customers, etc., where we need to grow. Chris Sharp, I don't know if anyone's seen Chris on LinkedIn, but significant brain on him, a complete tech geek, he will admit that himself. AI is obviously his favourite topic right now, like it is for most businesses and companies. This is where the sales engineering team come to life as well, to help you with kind of AI-based solutions. Colin is our CRO. Jeff is my boss, he's our COO. And then at the bottom layer there, you see kind of the regional layer coming to life. So our organisation is set at global, regional and local. So we have the 3 core markets, which is obviously the APAC area under Serene. Steve Smith runs the Americas, and then Michelle runs the EMEA market, of which the DACH region in Zurich is part of that. When you look about how we run our business, we run kind of left to right ultimately. So you've got the sales piece, but when you get past sales, it's really looking about how we build stuff. So we've got a build responsibility under our design and construction, and that team are really looking at how do we build, how do we make sure it's up to today's standards, what our design standards need to look like, future state, when you think about ESG, etc., etc. Implementation, we have a team focused purely on implementation. So if you sign something, you want to make sure it's delivered by your date of execution, and that's that whole team's purpose. Operations is there to maintain and operate. So Dennis is obviously the local representative here in Zurich, and their role really is to make sure the data centers continue to operate at our high uptime quality, which is obviously, at the 5 nines. I look after customer success. And then we have health and safety. Health and safety is one of our key pillars that Andy is really championing. It's so important. Everyone needs to go home after a day at work. So health and safety is really key to us. We obviously have commercials and then the procurement side of that. But moving on to the key thing really, when you look at our footprint, Platform Digital is basically us. Platform Digital is around our global footprints, our multi-tenant data centers. It looks at our connectivity, expanding our capacity. I think 23 billion or so has just been invested in our markets to really continue to grow our data center space and footprints, and control. And that's important. We'll talk about that in Service Fabric. How do our customers control this piece of it? You can see we've got over 5,000 customers there today. Over 300 data centers. This number is moving all the time, so it's already out of date at the point of me presenting this to you, across 6 continents, and you can see where we're located. When you look at other components of what we do, bringing the data together for our customers is really important. You can see here that we have the key markets and metros down the right-hand side. You can see the subsea cabling that supports our business as well, and you can see the number of carriers in cloud. Bit of an eye test, but it goes to show how we operate as a business, bringing those providers together. Our customer base is around over 5,000 right now, and it's a mix of enterprise, it's a mix of NSPs, it's a mix of cloud providers, on-ramp customers, IT customers. And the reason for that is we build an open community. So that means if customers are going through IT transformation, which most of us are, hybrid IT transformation, being in a location like this that allows you to make use of that connectivity is really, really powerful. Example of the cloud. Again, it's a hard one to read, but that's effectively telling you that we have our on-ramps, so that cloud capability. So you're looking at private, public cloud capability housed within our data centers that allows a private connection into that. Okay, gets away from the internet capability. So when you think about today, and that's really all I was going to cover, you think about today, I think the question I'm hoping you've got in your head is, and as we go through Service Fabric, is how can we help on your IT transformational journey? That's really the question. So feel free to chuck all the difficult questions at the next guy up. Any questions for me about that? Any sort of thing you want to ask, or no? All is good? Okay, we'll get to the brains of the operation.
No worries. Thank you very much, Ben. So, Service Fabric. It's a pleasure for me to be here to explain you a little bit what Service Fabric is and how our customers are using Service Fabric. I got the sign that I have to speak a little bit louder, okay? So you can hear me? Okay. Who of you have ever heard about Service Fabric? A lot. Okay. So it's not new for everyone. When it comes to Service Fabric, or the phrase of Service Fabric, I will often ask, hey, Uwe, Service Fabric, is it the next Cloud Connect or any other kind, or what is it exactly? And my answer is, yeah, it's totally different. It's new, of course. So we run it since 2 years, and we are working on every part of it and to make it better for our customers. But the absolutely highlighted reason is that Digital Realty bought a lot of other customers in the past, and every of these customers or companies had their own platform to connect their customers to the cloud or site to site or to the partners. And now we have combined all these platforms to a new platform called Service Fabric. And this is a huge benefit, because now our customers are able to connect to a lot of on-ramps. Right now we have more than 200 public cloud on-ramps available. So we can make sure that the data is staying in the region if the customer would like to. So other customers want to connect to foreign data, which is maybe in the US or in Amsterdam located, no problem. We can connect them and support their multi-cloud strategies with our Service Fabric platform. Additionally, Most of you know that the Service Fabric platform is a layer 2 platform, and a lot of customers were asking for a layer 3 functionality. So we have included a virtual router on several places, and we will roll out these virtual router capabilities to all of our data centers, so the customer can have this virtual router locally and traffic will not backhaul to the next place where we have this capability live. So we make sure that by end of the year we will have this functionality in all of our data centers, so everyone is then able to connect to these virtual routers and have connectivity to others around the globe using a layer 3 functionality. But Service Fabric is more. With Service Fabric, you can easily have your connectivity from one Digital Realty data center to another data center of us, but you can also have connectivity to third-party data centers like Equinix, Green, or you name it. So we have more than 520 data centers now connected to the platform, but this is not the end. By January 2025, we will have more than 800 data centers connected together with our partners, and we will see more than 1,800 in the near future when we have all the data centers connected in the African region and also in South America. In South America, we have connected several data centers by now, but there will be more to come. And so we will have more capabilities to connect to a very huge part or a very huge amount of data centers globally. We can also connect via Metro Connect and extend the global Service Fabric capabilities to data centers which are not able to connect directly. So it's very easy. And the third point here is the partner strategies. So Service Fabric is an open platform, and you as a customer are able to build an entry on our marketplace. Our marketplace is called Service Directory, and you can sell your service directly within that marketplace to other customers. So it's very easy. You can specify the port where other customers can connect to. You can specify the service, you can specify the VLANs, the bandwidth, and so on, to make sure you can deliver a very professional service with all the security features you need. So it's very easy. For example, if you have a virtual firewall in your portfolio and you would like to sell it to our 5,000 customers, it's a very easy way to do an entry, to roll out a port, specify the service, and other customers can easily, with a click to connect function, connect their data center network to your network where you are offering your service. The most use case we are seeing right now is that internet service providers are offering, for example, internet as a service or internet on demand for a backup scenario, for example. Or a DDoS provider would like to offer their DDoS service to our customers or to anyone else which is connected to the network. And then they can also specify a port and offer this service. This is the marketplace and click to connect functionality. Next one is that you can specify a service key for your port. For example, if you would like to have a special customer connect to your network, then you can exchange this key and this customer can connect easily to your network wherever the customer is. So, for example, if you would like to connect to your partner, which is in APAC or anywhere else on the globe and is also on this fabric, you can easily share this service key with him, and then this connection will be implemented. And partner connections, this is what I told when I was talking about the marketplace. So it's a very important feature. Also for AI, because not all of our customers would like to implement their own AI infrastructure. They would like to rent CPU or GPU times from AI providers, and then they can use this functionality and connect for an amount of time they would like to connect to. So this solution, like I said here in the topic, it's an SDN-based solution. So there is no time to wait if you would like to have an additional service, or if you would like to bring your bandwidth up or down. It is done within seconds. So you can click easily for higher bandwidth and it will be implemented fully automated. Same with other services. If you would like to have another service, it is implemented very, very fast. Everything you are doing on the platform is an end-to-end service. This means if you are ordering a port on the platform, a physical port, which can be a 1 gig, a 10 gig or a 100 gig connectivity or connection, the cross-connect is included. So we bring this kind of port directly to your infrastructure, to your rack, and tell you exactly, hey, this is the port where the Service Fabric is up and running for you. We have a web portal, of course. This is what our customers mostly use, but we have also providers, mainly from the carriers, which are using our API and have included everything from the API. This gives you also the pricing information to their applications, and so the whole end-to-end sales process can be done via the API. Service Directory, I mentioned it a slide before. What we also have is an inventory, so you can see exactly, you will see it later on the demo, what kind of services you have ordered, when you have ordered this, and of course we have an audit tracking behind, so you can see exactly who was ordering a service or a link or a virtual router or any other kind of service within Service Directory or in Service Fabric. We have a standardized SLA, so we have an uptime of 100% SLA if customers has a redundant connection. So we must be better than others to have a end-to-end SLA for our customers. So maybe you have a carrier who gives you 5 nines in an SLA, so we must be a little bit better. And so we guarantee 100% SLA on redundant connections. And of course we are fully maintaining this installation. So think about the hardware. We are spending around €1 million per location to have this certified hardware in place. Everything is MEF certified, operated 24/7. We have our security teams and network teams behind who are fixing problems if they occur. And this brings us to the next thing. So the global span, I guess I do not have to tell you about that, brings me to the flexibility. So we are very flexible when it comes to connectivity. Most of our customers are starting with 2 ports. And these 2 ports are sometimes not enough in regards of bandwidth. And we brought in this functionality that our customer now can build LSCP up to 8 links to have the best way to get their infrastructure connected and have the most outcome of the bandwidth. This 1 gig, 10 gig and 100 gig is the port speed we are providing on the platform, and the links, which we are calling virtual cross connects, starting from 50 megabit and goes up to 10 gigabit per link. But this is not the end of the story. The 10 gig ports and 100 gig ports can be over provisioned by a maximum of 5. So a 10 gig port can have 50 gigabit of bandwidth and a 100 gig port 500. So we make sure the over provisioning works for you very well and you can use your port in the best way you can have. This is what we are meaning with oversubscription. Like I said, from a security standpoint, we have this audit logging behind, role-based access control, multi-factor authentication, and of course the backbone is fully redundant. And fully redundant means that we have no crossing and no single point of failure when it comes to the backbone redundancy behind. Yeah, and 24/7 monitoring, I guess this is not brand new, but this is a must-have. So this is what the Service Fabric portal looks like. It's very clear. So we made it in a very easy to use way. We have our dashboard, we have our service directory, and the customer can start to create port groups, which is LACP functionality. Creating links. Links are the connections between two ports, and the customer is able to create virtual router for the layer 3 functionality. The service builder adds a very easy way for beginners. So the service builder is telling the user what's next, what to do on the platform to get the service up and running. And this can be done or used by ports and links. Others are using the API directly or are very familiar with a UI and can be configure the services in a very easy way. Service directory, advertising, what the customer would like to sell within service directory or within Service Fabric. This gives you a information for the ports. What I told you, for the virtual router we support 1 gig throughput, 2.5, 5 and 10 gig throughput of the router itself. Connections, I told it before, up to 10 gig per link. And destination, native, digital realty, data centers and all data centers which are with Megaport. Megaport is only the first one. So we are looking, of course, for additional service providers who are in many data centers or regions where we cannot cover, and then we can add it directly to our Service Fabric. The carriers needed an API so we can automate everything, and then we will see more and more coming afterwards. But Megaport is now the first provider we have included in a full way. Destination types, cloud, of course. Self-used if customers has multiple data centers online, or to any other customer or provider. So when it comes to virtual routers, we are supporting private IP addressing, v4 only at this time. We will see also IPv6 in the future. We support Q&Q double tagging for many of our providers who are reselling this service. Most of them are using double tagging. Also for some cloud connectivity we can provide it. eBGP peering, of course, when it comes to layer 3. Multiple bandwidths, these are the router throughputs we are supporting. But what we not do is jumbo frame support in the virtual router environment. Of course, we support jumbo frames. If customer has layer 2 connectivity, port to port, no problem. We are also supporting MACsec side to side, but no jumbo frames if customers are only using layer 3 as a connectivity type. Redundancy, of course, multiple routers, no problem. And per router, we have the possibility to support 25,000 routes per virtual router. Or sessions, not routes. Click to connect. This is the easiest way for our customer if they are offering their services within Service Fabric. I will demonstrate this later on. I will show you a partner which is using Click to Connect very well and in a very large scale. We can use within Click to Connect also the bandwidth and oversubscription. We can control enhancement, approval flow integration. So for example, if you are offering a port for another customer or for anyone else, you will be notified that there's an incoming connection like we have on the AWS cloud or on the Microsoft Azure cloud, and then you can accept this connection or you can decline this connection, whatever you want. It is very simple. Of course, it's a fully automated process, and the platform supports you to generate this kind of connectivity. And we have this automated key management. So this key management behind is nothing where you have to deal with. But if you would like to have a key, of course, to give to another partner, this is not Click to Connect, but this is the same mechanism behind. We support this key management for you. Let's talk about metrics. A lot of our customers were asking, hey, is it possible that I can see how my port is utilized or how the link is used? So do I have any kind of possibility to see the traffic metrics on the platform? And then we have implemented this monitoring and metrics window. So you can easily see how your port is utilized, how your links and connections are utilized, and how the virtual router is utilized in a live view. So this gives you the full visibility how you are using the platform or how incoming ports for Click to Connect or which you have shared via a service key is used, and you have a very good monitoring. You can also extract these files for your own monitoring reporting, for example. That's no big deal. And you can, of course, choose the time which you would like to see on the graph or extract the data for usage in Excel as a CSV format. So Service Fabric, when we launched Service Fabric, we had a look on the other platforms, and the most use case we are seeing when we are providing this service is that customers would like to connect to public cloud. This is absolutely top number one. And the next one is that customer has a multi-site strategy to have the connectivity back to a third-party data center. This is the most common use case because most of our customers have their secondary data center in a data center of another provider. So most example what we are seeing here in Germany, for example, is that a lot of our customers have their infrastructure with us and with Equinix. And then we are connecting these customers directly to Equinix using our platform behind, and makes it easier for these kind of customers to have connectivity in place in a very fast way. For disaster recovery, of course, if the customer has two sites, like I said in use case number 2, but this is Digital Realty only or with the other data center provider, we can do this, no big deal. Service chain, multiple services, connections which includes the vRouter functionality if they are having connectivity with other partners, providers, software as a service providers, or multiple clouds they are connecting to. They are using the virtual router to route traffic, for example, from Microsoft Azure to AWS and to Google. Last but not least, we have a lot of customers using Nutanix, SAP, Wasabi, storage, and so on. And these customers are using our platform to connect back to their network, avoiding the traffic goes to the internet. So this platform transports all the traffic around the internet. There's no internet connectivity except our customer provides it as a service. So here you can see our European backbone. Of course, we have this for the global network. All lines you can see here are fully redundant, protected, and not crossed on any place. So we have connected all these sites in a redundant way, and additionally we have multiple paths. So for example, if a customer would like to have connectivity from Marseille, let's say Dublin, and Paris is not working, then we are switching over to Zurich, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, London, Dublin. And within these boxes you can see which kind of on-ramps we are using directly and make sure the traffic and the data will stay in the country. So for example, when it comes to Zurich, we are supporting AWS, Microsoft, and Google. We have them in our data center and connect directly and make sure the traffic is not leaving the data center, except the customer would like to have the traffic leaving the data center, so we can do it. We see a lot of customers in Zurich which are connecting to Amsterdam, especially for Microsoft Azure. This comes because Amsterdam was the first place where the cloud was launched, and now they are connecting back to Frankfurt or staying in Zurich or having Microsoft Azure connectivity in Paris or anywhere else where Microsoft is. You said this slide before. This is where we have all these on-ramps. You can exactly see, for example, Oracle cloud infrastructure. We have them in Paris, in Marseille, in Frankfurt, in Amsterdam, in Zurich, in Stockholm, and so on. This is growing, of course, and we will see more and more cloud on-ramps, but we are not focusing on the big players. We are also focusing on the smaller players. So for example, the Nutanix platform or OVH, these are smaller cloud platforms we are connecting to. And of course we have them additionally, but it makes no sense to have them here on these slides because then we can see nothing else. Yeah, this slide gives you the figures from June 2024. We have 160 data centers where we have this platform enabled. So of course, take a look at Zurich. We have 3 data centers here, and we have our platform in 2 data centers and cross-connecting our customers which are on the next data center back to the platform. So it makes no sense to have this kind of installation in all the facilities. So sometimes we have a campus where we have 16 data centers up and running, and we will install this platform in 2 data centers. It's enough. And we have the need for more, of course we can do it. Here you can see where our customer, in this example Console Connect, is located, in which data center. They are almost everywhere in the world, and you can see the exact information about the categories, the services they are offering. We will see the contact information, a description, and for example, it can be that there's a hyperlink which gives you the information where to find additional documentation. And here on the bottom you can see the click to connect information where you as a customer can click directly to it and ask for a connection, here in this example for a connection on the Singapore NNI to have connectivity to Console Connect in Singapore. And this was my last slide, and now I will go live into the Service Fabric portal to show you how the portal looks like and how the Service Fabric pricing estimator, which I forgot to explain here, looks like, to find out what is the pricing per port or per service. You can easily have a look on it, so you as a customer has access. All right, let's have a look on the Service Fabric UI. So what we are seeing here is when you go to servicefabric.digitalrealty.com, you will have this login page where you can put in your email address and your password if you have an account. If not, you can use the SSO login, and this is your account which are you using for the interaction portal or the Digital Realty portal. So if you are in one of our portals, you can easily log in using this SSO login page, and then you will be redirected to the UI of Service Fabric. This is my demo account, and now you can see from a port perspective your inventory, which ports you have. So 2 hours ago I configured 2 ports, the port 1 and the port 2. Both ports are located, the first one in Frankfurt, the second one here in Zurich 2, for example. You see 0 days in inventory. These are brand new ports which I've chosen or implemented here. And if I go to one of them, you will see additional information about the port, like the resource ID, where the port is located. So you can have this port in Meet Me Room A or in Meet Me Room B, or you will select us where we implement the port. In this case, I've specified that I would like to go via Meet Me Room A. You can have a description that you can recognize where you have this port. You see the operational state. This port is not operational because it is not patched yet. You see the location, the speed that the port is created, and you see directly the price per port, and this is a price where the Cross Connect is included. Same with the second port, and what I would like to show you here is that you can create this kind of service key which you can exchange with your customers or partners to have connectivity to your network. You can exactly specify which VLAN should be used, or if you would like to set up Q&Q, or you can make it as an untagged connection, so every VLAN will be accepted on the port. Then you can specify how long this service key should be valid, and you can specify the maximum bandwidth, let's say 10 gig, for this port, and no one is able to connect with a higher bandwidth to this port, but with a lower bandwidth. And of course you can have a description here. Same you can do with port groups, with virtual routers and so on. And for the patching to your rack, you need to download the LOA, which is this little arrow on top. And this is what we need from you if you are creating a port, so we can patch this directly to your rack. The pricing estimator feature Here you can easily play around and find out what are the costs. This drop-down field contains more than 500 locations. These are the locations which are connected to Service Fabric. It starts with a Ascenty port, which is a Ascenty data center in Brazil, and ends up with a set data center. It's alphanumeric here. But you can also find it with typing. So, for example, if you would like to have a port in Equinix ZH4 or ZH, it's enough that the system find data center which includes a name ZH. In this case, it's Switzerland, and you can see this kind of connectivity will be offered by Megaport. If you are choosing a data center which is a DLR data center, for example Frankfurt, then you will see offered by Digital Realty, and this means that the traffic is still on our backbone directly with no third party included. Then you will select the speed. It's 1 gig, 10 or 100. Let's use a 10 gig port, and you can choose the quantity. For example, you would like to have 2 ports in Frankfurt, and then click add, and then you have the possibility to choose a currency, for example Swiss francs, and now you can see the costs for the port. And like I said, the cross connect is included, and then you have 2 ports, and the total is 621 Schweizer Franken for these ports. There are no one-time fees. Everything is based on a monthly fee. And of course, there are no long-term commitments. So if you do not need this port for a longer time, you can easily disconnect it and delete this port. Same for port groups, for links, for virtual routers and connections. Connections are layer 3 links in our environment. So now we have 2 ports in Frankfurt, and then let's take another 2 ports, one in, let's say in Ashburn, a 10 gig port, and the other one in Australia. And then you can connect these ports together. For example, from Frankfurt to a port in Ashburn with a 1 gig link. And the next one this one back to Zurich 1 with a 2 gig link. And so you can play around, build your estimate, and you know exactly how much to pay for this kind of connectivity. You see, this kind of connectivity is very expensive, but it depends on the distance and the underlying technology. All right, so for my last minute, I would like to show you the service directory. This is what I mentioned with the business card, so you can easily see a lot of customers are having several services which they are providing directly to all of our customers. You can search for a specific customer, like we had in our example, Console Connect. And within Console Connect, you can see they are offering Internet on Demand, point-to-point layer 2, Internet Exchange as a service, and so on. And you can see here the Click to Connect ports, where you can easily click to connect to have this Internet Exchange as a service, for example, in this case here in Paris 2. And this is how we are building our network with our customers, and the customers has the benefit to connect from each other, use services from each other, and that's what we are meaning with an open platform. Thank you very much. Thanks.
So, and now we are coming to a special topic. You saw our global spread, the functionalities we are offering for connectivity between the data centers. And I don't know if you are aware of Cyan, or if you know about Cyan, or who has been at the Cyan days here. So, okay, let's say 50%. Cyan is, just to give you an introduction about, or what the reason is why we are talking about that. So Cyan is a Swiss-developed new internet protocol. So the idea of Cyan is, with the knowledge of today, how would we develop the internet protocol today? So, and one of the things, the question is, why is a data center provider talking about Cyan? So, and what we see is, what we are responsible for is, let's say, the physical security, that nobody can access your equipment, that nobody can access here physically your cage, your room, your rack, whatsoever. But what we also see is, in terms of control, where are you in control of your data? And how difficult is it to be in control of your data? We are talking about sovereign clouds and sovereign data and all these things. And this is getting more and more complicated and more complex to generate this sovereignty. So, and Cyan is one of the topics where we think that it might be of interest for you to ensure data sovereignty also on the go. So sending data from data center A to data center B, that you are in full control of your data. So what we see today is you have your direct internet access, you have your data on the go, and you have it stored here. So you know the laws and regulations of this country. You are here because exactly of this data protection laws and stuff like that, and then you are starting to go international. So, and there the question is, okay, today we have an internet which is developed, it was patched, and then we've had a new problem and patched again, and features on top, and patches again, and features, and stuff like that. And the question also in terms of compliance and all these topics, looking at NIS2, DORA, FINMA, cyber defense with ISO 20071, things like that, we see that the demand for data sovereignty or data governance is increasing over time more and more. So the question is a bit, is there a possibility to use our network to give you also more support on that topic? And you saw now we have a global network and how you can use it. And one of the top topics also at the Cyan days have been the BGP topic. This is the main, let's say, axis for cyber attacks. And we saw on the Cyan day, we saw tremendous or enormous amounts of attacks on the BGP, and also how difficult it is to govern and to protect and to do all these things. So, and Cyan comes into play and takes out, let's say, the whole BGP topic, brings into the existing networks and applications just without needing to adapt networks and applications. You can bring it into the game. And we are seeing also later, presented by Thomas Knüsel from Cyberlink, we are going to see a real case, how this is done. But for us, it's giving you an overview or the possibility for path control, multipassing, security by design, because this is implemented into the protocol. And you can use our service fabric to use it already today globally with the right partners. We believe in partner place, and we believe in, let's say, bringing best-in-class solutions into that. And we are the data center providers, and there are experts how to use our network. And this is the insight we would like to give you. So Cyan operates side by side with the existing internet, but also with the existing applications. And this is more or less a technical setup you can bring by your own on our network, or together with our partners. I would like to hand over at this point back to Uwe. Uwe will give you a more technical overview about what Cyan can do on our network. For me, one of the topics is in the existing internet, you are putting information into the network, and then it's routed somehow to the next end. So yes, on the Cyan day we heard it's like routing or navigating with a compass. That's our internet today. And routing with a GPS, where you say, okay, I would like to go that route and have my data under control, and I know that it's staying in the region, that it's staying on the path, that it's not going, for example, via countries which haven't signed or which have signed the Cloud Act or things like that. You can define the route how data flows. So, Uwe, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Arne. So, yeah, we have heard that a lot of benefit comes with the new protocol Cyan. And we were facing or discussing exactly these use cases with others in the world. And what we have seen is that it is not possible for many of them to go directly with Cyan. The reason is they don't have a Cyan Gate or a Cyan Edge device in their nearest path, or they easily don't have it, and they would like to have this kind of connection. For example, you have a bank which is located here in Switzerland. They have their branch office maybe in America, but they do not have the possibility to have a direct and very fast connectivity to the Cyan network or to a provider like Cyberlink. And they are looking for a way to have this kind of security in a very easy and fast way. And this is where we come in with Service Fabric and have the possibility to connect back their network or their isolation domain or their VLAN, whatever they have, to a network from Cyberlink. So Cyberlink can have this kind of termination and will route the traffic to a core device which supports Cyan. Cyan is available also on a Cyan network, but mostly not in the US, not in APAC. Yeah, we will have this network not everywhere. But if we are expanding their network to the ISPs, and this is where the ISPs of Switzerland comes in, we are able to have, for example, this remote worker connecting back to the ISP. Yeah, of course, we have customers which we can directly connect via Cross Connect or Metro Connect, or we can do this via our layer 2 port-to-port connectivity in a very easy way. And this bypasses the internet, so there's no security constraints on the customers, and this is what the customers would like to have. And so I can easily hand over to Thomas, who will explain their to you, Anna, sorry.
I have to hijack your microphone again.
Yeah, no worries.
Just to add something on top of that, because we haven't spoken about that. You saw the pricing tool and all that stuff for the Service Fabric, but I think, and this is what we discussed here before, and I think that's also the interesting part about the Cyan topic. And we see with the Cyan topic, it's a bit like the IoT discussion and things like that. So I remember since 5 years we are talking about what is the main use case for IoT. And I see a copy of that regarding the Cyan topic. So what is the main use case for Cyan? And what we would like to emphasize here is also the Service Fabric and the use of the Service Fabric. You don't have to sign for 12 months or 24 months or 36 months. So if you would like to try our Service Fabric, or if you would like to run a pilot on the Service Fabric with Cyan, you can do that. You can build up the network on the Service Fabric, and then you can try for 3 months, and then you can always quit the service in the month, if you would quit it today, it will end of November. So, and then you're out of the contract. So the financial impact also running a pilot or something like that on our Service Fabric to test it, or to run Cyan as a use case on our Service Fabric, is not that expensive. So I would like to bring down the hurdle to try it and to test it. But on the other hand, it's also, and this is when we were at the Cyan days, this is also one of the things which triggered me a bit. Nobody is talking about who's Cyan ready. So we have hyperscalers here in our data centers, which are Cyan ready. We have also the Swiss IX interconnect, which is Cyan ready. And we have several ISPs and solution partners in our data centers, which are Cyan ready. So there's plenty of choices of things also on the platform. Here we are discussing at the moment with Cyberlink that we would like to bring also that part into our Service Fabric and Service Portal, that you can connect to Cyberlink directly and say, okay, I would like to have, I don't know, Cyan route from there to there and stuff like that. But we are not there yet. So please talk to Thomas if you're interested. And I would like to bring down the financial burden with a 12-month contract or something like that. So test our Service Fabric, test Cyan if you are interested, and you don't have to sign for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, something like that. Okay, and we are going to help you and establish also the contacts to the hyperscalers or whoever is needed to help you finding solutions for that. Okay, so sorry for stepping in and bringing the camera team, mix it up here, but I think that's important.
So a few days ago, a few weeks ago, I got the invitation from Ravi to this event, and I signed up to be in the audience. And then Arne called me 2 days ago and said, "Well, Thomas, how would it be to be on stage and present a use case?" And I said, "Well, yes, because I have one. I have one that fits really well. It's a use case from a payment bank that we were able to bring live only a few weeks ago, and therefore I think it fits very nice to the topic, and I can show you now how this is really coming to life." Good. So this is the use case I would like to talk to you about. Unfortunately, I'm not able to still or to already mention the name of this bank, but it doesn't has an impact on explaining you how this use case works. It's a bank that is specialized in cross-border transactions and builds a banking network to allow to bring the costs and the efficiency, also to increase the efficiency of these cross-border payments, but also then bring the costs down. And I can show you what infrastructure they need underneath to connect into the Swiss banking infrastructure. But first I would like to start shortly with Cyberlink, so you can also understand how we fit into the picture here. So Cyberlink, we are a Zurich-based company focusing entirely on managed services in two areas. One area is the connectivity part. We do business internet, private connects or private networks, and now Cyan. And then the other part that we do is cloud and colocation, and we are a long-term customer of Digital Realty, and that's why we start doing other projects as well, or doing other projects as well. And everything, of course, has to be in the context of high availability and security, and therefore for our customers they also need to have the certain or the necessary compliance to be able to operate not only on a technical level on high standards, but also on compliance. This is more or less our landscape and how it looks like. We have our core networks in the data centers. Also here we use two different data center providers. And then what we do as a connectivity provider, we take the best networks available, here illustrated in yellow. We don't have our own networks, but we take them, we build our network interfaces to them, and then use what's best available on the projects or the customer locations that we are able or that we are using in the projects to connect. We then combine the connectivity that is available on these locations and decide what is the best technology, what is the best network technology to use for the use cases. And now, of course, Cyan is becoming increasingly important for us to to comply with requirements and standards in financial markets and also insurance markets, customers that are working there. Now in this use case, the situation was this, that the customer needed a mission critical access for their payments to run from a public cloud infrastructure into the Secure Swiss Financial Network. The Secure Swiss Financial Network is a network that went live a few years ago, but now it has been mandated. It went from a closed private network, classical private network, now to the SIAN standard, and is now, compared to other classical private networks, run by multiple operators, not only one single operator, and still allows to offer the same security levels as within the private network. So now look a bit deeper into these requirements that we had to cope with in the project. So first we needed to get the connection from the hyperscaler cloud infrastructure of the customer in 2 regions in Europe. Then we had to make sure we can provide dual provider access into the Secure Swiss Finance Network, as I mentioned before. So not only a Cyberlink connectivity was enough, but it needed to be a dual provider solution. Then thirdly, hardware encryption. So it was not easy to say, well, we just go cloud to cloud, but we need to make sure that we can comply with also here with the standards and find a way to do the hardware encryption. And it had to be geo-redundant with no single point of failure. And on top of that, before we were able to sign, customers say, well, FINMA compliance is one thing, but we need DORA, or at least starting from next year. And so we also needed to already now comply with DORA. And DORA has different levels, and this service that we are providing is classified as critical under DORA. So we had to basically comply with the highest standards also within DORA. Now I would like to show you how we built the setup. So we start with the public cloud, where the banking application of our customer runs. We use Digital Realty Service Fabric in order to connect the cloud application to the data center. Interesting point is the peering location. So we were able to see where the cloud provider provides peering locations and where Digital Realty with the Service Fabric provides peering locations. So we were able to choose the most appropriate one, or basically it was a choice by the customer at the end of the day. Also on cost objectives or measures. So that was a free choice of the customer at the end of the day. And then we connected the public cloud through Service Fabric to our data center here at Digital Realty, built or have the Cyberlink Fabric gateways that takes over and then uses the HSM, the hardware security modules to do the necessary encryption. This one is operated by the customer, so we have no control over it. So the customer does the configuration and makes sure that from a security perspective, everything is okay. We provide the physical security for that part of the service. And then we go to SIAN. So we have our SIAN core running at this location as well, and can provide a direct access from our SIAN core then into the SSFN, the Secure Swiss Finance Network. This is a closed isolation domain. We have heard the term isolation term before. So it means that it's not public, so no other SIAN IST could get access into there. This is a special restriction that was done by the Swiss National Bank to make sure this is a closed group. There are multiple providers that operate it, but it's closed, and if you want to participate there, you have to get a certificate from the Swiss National Bank or from SIX, who operates it in the name of the Swiss National Bank, to be able to be a participant at the SSFN. And now with that path, our customer, having all these of course, certificates that are needed, can directly access the SIG and EuroSIG, so the applications needed for the payment services the customer is offering. But of course, and that might be a benefit and also for the future, customers are also able now to connect to all of other participants or members of this SSFN. This is a closed platform, but once you're a member, you can use it also for connectivity from one bank to the other. So it means like it's a platform, and it's not just something that then you would need another direct connect or leased line to do business with other banks. So it has the potential also to consolidate a lot of connectivity and high secure connectivity using Sion as a connectivity platform for the Swiss financial market. And then one of the requirements, of course, was no single point of failure. So we did the whole thing twice in another data center of ours, where we have basically the same setup, also with a service fabric and the hardware encryption and the Sion connectivity into SSFN. And important here, the third-party Sion provider. So we use another Sion provider. We do everything single point of contact for the customer, but we resell another Sion connectivity from an international partner of ours to allow here also the full redundancy and separate operational organizations to provide the connectivity on that level required. And that's it basically. We are a company that is able to do that. We are small enough. We can do also the international business. At the moment, Sion is not yet very widely spread, so it is important that the know-how is available, and so we can help in that. We have the flexibility to do that. We can offer single source, and we try to always find a solution that is best fit for the customer. We're close also to the ETH, who invented Sion. We are involved in already some projects where they, think about the next features and are happy to have a provider where they can already bring it into live networks from sometimes. And of course, the National Bank and SIX is important for us to make sure that setups that maybe are not very well defined in the standards yet can get approved, and we can then continue and bring them to life. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free. So good. Thank you very much, and maybe I hand over.
So first, thank you. Thanks a lot. Just some closing questions from my side. So we have a long-term relationship as partners, as customer. You are a very old customer, not in terms of old and being gray-haired, but we know each other quite well. We had at the Sion Days we had this topic of how mature is Sion. So you're operating Sion since some years, I would say, and you help building up the SSFN and stuff like that. So what is your estimation? How ready is Sion, or how mature is Sion to be rolled out?
Okay, yeah. Sion is maximally mature. I mean, it has been approved by the Swiss National Bank, and you can imagine that the hurdles to get that stamp is extremely high. But of course, it has not yet all the features that we may be looking for. And also, it has not the density yet of the public internet, BGP-based internet. But that's exactly what we are trying to do. We're trying to have more and more Sion cores available worldwide. And a network like the Digital Realty Fabric will help us to do that. We can run that then quite standardized. We can say, okay, if we have always the same connectivity network underlay, and we have several infrastructure providers in these locations that offer us the same, let's say, hardware stack, and we can even automate the process to bring ScionCores up in a very short time, and so that we can actually be quite flexible again to use cases of customers that would like to use Scion, not only in Switzerland, but of course then on a global scale, wherever we have this Realty or other data centers with similar Service Fabric connectivity solutions available.
So from your point of view, nobody should struggle trying it out or bring it into life, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you always need to look at the use case and then see if it fits and if the features available are there, but it is definitely proven and has all actually it really brings together the world of a private network with the features of a public network. It brings the flexibility with the security of a private network nicely together, and I think it is really something to look at if you have similar use cases with similar demands.
Yeah. Very good. So thanks a lot for the presentation. Thanks a lot for being here and giving us this insight in the real case. I would like to keep you on stage here. But not for questions, just for the face and for the good looking, because I'm not that nice to look at. No, but use the time, because one of the things I would like to emphasize here is we are building up over the time, and this is also what we feel every day. We are trying to build up a community which is in this campus here, because with partners like you are and with customers like you are here in the audience, use now our apero, mingle around a bit, exchange experience. Here you have an experienced user of our Service Fabric, so you can also get first-hand information if everything is as good as Uwe presented it. So I'm convinced about that. I'm very happy to have you here, and now please enjoy the apero and ask every question you like to ask. We are very transparent. There are also other partners here helping you maybe with other solutions. Please use that. It was really nice to have you over. I hope you could get a good insight into what we are doing here in our data center. Our campus is growing with each and every customer in the Swiss market, but also internationally. And this is also what we can offer you to connect to everybody you would like to see in the service provider business, in the ISP business. Whatever use case you have, let us know, and we are trying to help to find the right partners for you. Okay? So thanks a lot. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and
Thank you.
enjoy. Danke dir.